I was born in Colombia, the eldest of a family of 5. I grew up in a Catholic family, went to Catholic school. I went to school in Bogota College. They had a science degree in business administration and came to the US to do and follow a master's degrees in communication. That's where I met my husband, Fernando. I have seen him way many years before through some friends in Colombia, but not until Boston that we really started to have a relationship.
From a very young age, I was very focused on studying hard. I was very interested in studying medicine. So I went into medical school in Colombia. Then I moved to do several specialties in the United States. Then I met my now wife, Monica.
We had a 2-year relationship and then got married and had our kids, Daniel, David, and Christina. A very happy, crazy family.
Since I'm a neurologist, I was always paying attention to my kids' complaints, health complaints. And Christina, when she was 6 years old, she started complaining of a little bit of itching and numbness on the side of her chest. And at the beginning, we thought it was probably some muscle sprain or muscle strain. And I commented to Monica that, she should go to the pediatrician because I am not a pediatrician.
So back in December 2012, Christina was diagnosed with a very rare type of cancer.
So I was traveling at the time. I travel a lot due to my work. And I got a call from Monica that I needed to come back to Boston immediately because Christina was in the emergency room. So I immediately traveled back. I went directly from the airport to the emergency room. And a number of doctors come to me, they put me into a room and they say to me, your daughter has cancer.
It was the beginning of the most difficult times in our life. At the same time, the most amazing and blessed days of our life, which is difficult to understand unless that you have lived it, right?
So it was a major shock for me as a parent and as a doctor to have to live through this incredibly difficult news.
It was hard. We were told that Christina had no more than 2 weeks to live. So as a parent, as a mom, you would not expect that your kids are gonna go before you. So Fernando and I were devastated, but at the same time, for a reason that sometimes we can't even understand, we had this faith that we didn't know we had. It was there from our beginnings in the Catholic faith, growing in a Catholic family. Everything that was taught to us was coming back to us. I have done a retreat 3 months before Christina was diagnosed where I started a personal relationship with Jesus, especially with him because I was raised being close to Our Lady but not to Jesus. And in that retreat, I really started to have and to feel him close to me. And when Christina was diagnosed, I got this strength and this peace that I couldn't understand. But I knew she was going to be okay, that we were going to be okay, and that God was walking with us and he was going to give us the strength to continue. So her journey began, and we began the journey with her. She was holding us, and God was holding her. I think that's the way I see it. He was holding her so strong that even in the most difficult moments, she kept going, and we kept going too. So it's a time that you wish it did not come, but at the same time today, I thank God that it came, because it brought Fernando, me, my family, and everyone around us closer to God and closer to understand the meaning of our existence here on earth, the purpose that we are all here, that we have a purpose, that we come with a gift, every and each one of us with a special gift. And Christina taught us through her journey that she had a gift, the gift of bringing people closer to God, to bringing people closer to the faith, and to bringing people closer to each other. Because when you go through these moments, you realize that you are surrounded with so many angels, people that you don't even know, that will pray for you, that will support you, that will come to help you along the way.
So when she entered the hospital, she was under a lot of pain, and she was on pain because she already had metastases, and she was put on a special drip of medications to control the pain. and we quickly moved to discuss with the doctors if there were any experimental treatments that she could be put on. As soon as the pain was controlled, Christina was again her normal attitude, her normal behavior, playing with her friends, singing, and she continued to go to school for the rest of, during the time when she was having treatment. She would continue to go to school and be playful and be a happy soul.
So Christina was the joy in our life, and for her brothers, for Fernando, for me, for our family. She was the first daughter in a house, the very well dreamed girl as a mom. I had already my two amazing boys, and my dream was to have a girl, and here she came with this battery. I call her, she had like ever-ready Energizer batteries, non-stop. She would continue from one activity to the other one, was always looking for something more to do, was full of hope in everything, full of joy. She would always see the goodness in every single detail. If it was raining, it was beautiful that it was raining. And if it was sunny, oh, it's amazing that it's sunny. If somebody did something against her, she would always see the good in it, and she would always say, they're people, they're human, you have to give them a second chance. You don't know them well, you don't know what they're going through. And this is a 7-year-old girl that you not expect to be as mature as she was. She would always see the goodness in everything, in people, in life.
In those times of difficulties, and when you know that there's nothing you can do as a scientist, as a clinician, to help your own child, you really need to find something to grasp onto. And to me, all those experiences as a child, the child of a mother who was very devoted to Jesus, came alive again. And I felt this incredible need to talk to God about, His will, my acceptance of His will, but at the same time asking Him to help me, to help Christina, and to help all of us as a family to deal with this terrible difficulty.
For Christina, the most important person in her life was God. When her cancer relapsed, I asked her if she could ask God, pray to Him to heal her so that the cancer would go away. And she said to me, Mom, I cannot ask Him that. And I said, why, Christina? And she says, if He needs me in heaven, I'm willing to go to heaven with Him. And I was so surprised. And I said to Christina, heaven is full of angels. You have 70,000 people praying for you, getting closer to God. We all need you here. And she says, you don't get it, Mom. Family never goes before God. It's God first, Jesus, then is Our Lady, then is you, and don't tell Daddy. So that's the way that she lived, She knew that she was here because of Him. She knew that whatever He was allowing to happen in her life had a purpose greater than what she wanted, greater than what I wanted. In one occasion, she said, my cancer is not a bad cancer, Mom. My cancer is a good cancer, and I'm not going to ask Him to take it away because it's bringing a lot of people closer to God. She knew and she realized that all those people following her in her website were getting closer to God because of her life, because of the way that she was living life. But she was not pretending to live a life. She was living a life, a kid's life. But she was so spontaneous, so full of life. She would tell you it does hurt. She would never say it doesn't hurt. She did accept that she was in pain, but pain was okay. She would offer the pain for souls in purgatory that didn't have anyone to pray for, no one that was thinking about them. She would offer the pain for people who were not believing in God. She was okay. She would always say, I am okay. And she was truly okay. It wasn't something that she was just saying for me to be comfortable. It was something that she could not pretend. She was enjoying life like everyone else. She was going to school like all her friends. Since God was the center of her life, she saw life and death in a different way that we did. And she taught us a very beautiful lesson. For her, the most important day of a person's life, in her case, she said to me, of my life, will be the day that I go back to heaven. And it's going to be so special. And I have so many questions that I'm going to ask God, but I'm going to be so happy when I see him that I'm going to forget every single question that I have to ask him. She said to me, if people knew that the day of their death, it was the most important day of their life, they will be asking their family and friends, which she asked us, at the day of their funeral, not to wear dark colors or black. She said people should be wearing the colors of the rainbow. It is a day of celebration. It's the day that you go back to heaven if you behaved. She was so clear about that. If you behave. Not everyone will be going directly to heaven, even though she thought everyone was a good person and everyone has a chance to go to heaven. We're not have the same journey and we're not going to go the same way directly to heaven. But she made it sure, and she made me promise that if she went before I did, that everyone at her funeral will be celebrating her life, and most importantly, that she was in heaven at that moment with God. So she was not afraid of dying. She was not afraid about talking about death. Actually, she would talk about death like if you talk about going to have an ice cream. It was normal. It was the normal course in life. She said, I was not born here on earth. I was born the day that God created me in heaven to send me here to take me someday back to him. So that's why the way she saw death and life, which is at the end the same. We come here to live a life that is going to take us to a permanent life in heaven.
My wife and I went through this very dramatic transition in our spiritual life where we put all our faith in God. And Monica started with her friends to make rosaries by hand. And Christina had one idea that was to use these rosaries in exchange for donations so that we could eventually have enough money to build churches around the world. This is how the foundation was born. Build the Faith is the name of the foundation. And the idea came from the simple expression of a child who, despite being struggling with a major illness, had the transparency of heart and intention to help others.
So along the way, that we were making these rosaries, the group started to grow, the volunteers starting to come up. Inspired by Christina's life, her cancer came back, but her faith stayed strong, our faith stayed strong, the boys' faith stayed strong. And surprisingly, everyone around our faith was growing too at the same time. So the group continues, we continue treatments, but the group at home praying the rosary will continue even though if I was at the hospital with Christina in treatment.
The foundation has been very gratifying to us and to all the volunteers that come to help us every week. We continue making rosaries, we continue receiving donations from multiple areas of not only the US, but Colombia and other countries. And Monica, my wife, has been the leader of the foundation. She has really created from scratch something that didn't exist and now is flourishing tremendously. We have been able to complete now several structures, churches or convents in several areas of the world. So we have the Guadalupe Church in Garagoa, which is close to Santa Marta, Colombia. And we have helped finish chapels and pieces of convents in Argentina, and now another church in Nicaragua.
So we Build the Faith started by helping, having the idea to help to build churches, but along the way we realized with Christina Faith that the faith and building the faith is not only the structural church, it was building inside ourselves. Each one of us is the church. And we wanted to bring her example, her faith, her journey to others, especially kids her age in the area. So we started these workshops with the youth around Boston, Catholic schools, religious educations, any organization that would allow us to bring her journey and her testimony to others. We would teach them the importance of the rosary, why do we make these rosaries, and what is the foundation doing. The kids will also have the opportunity to do their social service by selling those rosaries to help us to accomplish the mission of the nonprofit. So it's going beyond making just the rosaries at home and building the churches. It's going to every single one of us, every single home, family, to let them know that God loves them so much, and we're being so blessed by many, many things, that there's a lot that we can do for others too, who are not as fortunate as we are in other parts of the world. We have churches in the States, in many places in the world around the corner, that we can go at any time in our life that we're having struggles. In our faith, in our life, in our works, these people are born with crosses, big crosses. They don't have food, they don't have a home, they don't have water, they don't have an education, and on top of that, they don't have a church, a place to go and get the spiritual strength that we all need to be able to continue our life and our journey. So Build the Faith is going beyond that. Build the Faith is also hosting retreats. We host alongside Father Michael Harrington and Father Edward Riley. They're part of the Holy Family Institution that we are part of. It's a group of amazing lay people, and these priests, they belong to the Pauline Institution, and we grow in faith as a family.
We have been blessed to have people from a diversity of backgrounds, talents, geographies that have come to us very generously and helped us with donations for Build the Faith Foundation. And I would say that they have a few things in common. They are very humble, they have, as I said, a very generous heart, and they see in the humility of service to others a way to grow spiritually.
And we're now so excited and looking forward to our fourth project, that it's gonna be a retreat house for 21 communities in the mountains of Puebla in Mexico. This retreat house is gonna allow people from different communities to get together and spend a weekend to strengthen their faith, to strengthen their life, to get the support that they need, the spiritual support and the physical support that they need to continue with the journey, and also to get as a community on a weekly basis and support each other, spend time with each other, and enjoy what life is giving them. It will be a place where they can feel that they're not alone, that there's people somewhere in the world that were putting their work, their time, their money to help them, regardless if they know them or not know them. It's just because they're such an amazing people, loved by God, that want them to be felt loved the same way. There's many ways to help. You can become a volunteer of our nonprofit. Our job is growing every day. You can be a sponsor. You can sponsor some of our projects. You can donate online. You know, you can buy our rosary. We make different type of rosaries. You can buy them. All the money that we receive, it's 100% towards our mission. You can be our ambassador. There's a lot of people in other countries, which is amazing. You know, we have people helping us to sell their rosaries in Argentina, Chile, Canada, Mexico, Spain. It's everywhere. We are a big family. We are the church. I've been impressed, to be honest, with the people who have really helped us throughout. It's different sort of people from different backgrounds, but there's something in common in those people. Are people who are so humble and so detached of themselves, of what they have or what they need, mostly what they need, because I've seen people who have given us a certain amount of money that it will sometimes be half of their monthly payment. And they do it because they believe that we are one family, and if we have one blessing, it is to share with somebody else. It's not to keep it for ourselves. It's people who have the joy in giving by seeing others being able to get what they already have and have taken for granted.
I think there are many ways by which we can enhance our own lives as human beings. There are many aspects that we can take into account. Our financial aspects, emotional, physical, family life, friendships. But I think we need to put at the same level our spiritual needs. Christina transformed our family in a tremendous way because we were so-called lukewarm Catholics. We would go to church because we needed to go to church, but we were not living the faith as it should be lived. So the purpose behind the Build the Faith Foundation is not only to build the physical churches, but also build the spiritual needs that people have.
So Christina said that the most important day of her life will be the day that she knew that she had done everything that God was expecting from her to do here on earth. And I think she left this life to start a new life with God because she accomplished what she was called to. It was bringing us closer to God. The question is, each one of us has a gift. What are we doing with that gift?
Hi everyone, have a good day and never forget to say, Jesus in you I trust, because God loves you.